This is Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Big thank you to Jeff Kolpak for joining us to help wrap up hour number one on this Monday morning. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo today. Thanks for joining us on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, KNBN in Rapid City, and also streaming on Inform.com. Now, we talked a lot about the Mountain West Media Days with Jeff in studio here, and one thing you should get ready for throughout the week here is we will re-air some of the conversations that Dom had in Las Vegas with some of the coaches and players last week. And we'll kick things off here to start the week, and this Monday is a conversation that I'm excited about. Dom had the opportunity to catch up with the head coach of the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors in Timmy Chang, who was a really fun guy to talk to. Dom sat down with him for a couple of minutes and talked everything about Hawaii football. So here's that conversation on Hot Mic.
We're here with Hawaii head coach Timmy Chang. The most anticipated game on the North Dakota State football schedule, without a doubt, is the game November the 14th against the Rainbow Warriors. We played your comments right after the news came out that North Dakota State was getting into the Mountain West, and I thought it was really interesting what you had to say. No, your football knowledge is unparalleled, but tell me your reaction when you found out that the Bison were going to be members of the league.
Man, it's exciting. You know, I think nationally, people recognize North Dakota State as a premier program, a championship pedigree program that the Mountain West now gets to inherit, enjoy a great style of football that's going to be exciting. And I think nationally, people are starting to recognize one, the program, and two, the Mountain West Conference.
Well, and three, it's really big for you guys as well, now being full members of the conference. What does that mean for Hawaii football now?
Yeah, not just for Hawaii football. I think, us finding a home with all our sports, for it to be full-fledged in the Mountain West, it's important. It's important. It's important that we get to build our traditions, we get to build our rivalries. These games mean a lot more.
Yeah.
And so excited. I'm excited for our university and all our athletic programs.
Tell me, as an alum, to have the kind of success you had last year, was that even more satisfying to have the kind of breakthrough year you guys had?
I think being born and raised there, being an alum there, it just hits a little different, and so. I was proud of our 2025 team and where we come, but we came a long way from 24, and you guys weren't a part of it yet, but we won 5 games, lost 7. Three of those 7 losses came by 2 points in 3 games, and so just for us, for our program, it's finding a way to start to win those games and really try to build something strong and be in the conversation for winning a Mountain West championship.
I've heard from other coaches. I talked with Craig Bull about when he came to Fargo in April about what the home field advantage is like for your team. Is there a way to describe what it is for your team when you play at home?
I think we're just very passionate. The Hawaii fan base is very passionate, one, about football, and two, there is no professional team. Very similar in North Dakota. There is no professional team, so the university and the programs, they start to take that identity of your state, of your community, and so when you come down and play over there, I think that's what you feel. Yeah. And I think vice versa, when we come down there, where other teams are going to come to Fargo, they're going to feel that passion as well.
How much of a unique recruiting strategy is it that you're the only game in town at 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern, we can turn on Hawaii football's playing? Is that a recruiting advantage for you guys?
I don't know if it's a recruiting advantage, but it for us it's our niche.
Yeah.
It's our story. The last game in the country is an opportunity for when I played it years ago in 2000 to 2004. I didn't realize how much of a presence as I started coaching, in places like Texas and Mississippi, and I started to recruit the areas, and people knew who I was.
Yeah.
It was because it was the late night game, and it was the only game and the only show that was playing late night. So I don't know if it's much of a recruiting advantage, but it's definitely what makes Hawaii football If you had something to do all day and you got to get your football, your fixing, Hawaii football is going to be on.
Speaking of recruiting, you've hit this town pretty hard. Describe what the relationship is in the city of Las Vegas of getting players to come to Honolulu.
Yeah, we've had a coach named Chris Brown, who's my associate head coach, the linebackers coach. He wears a lot of hats. He's had a lot of great success at at Bishop Gorman, and so a lot of the trust, a lot of the relationships that he's built, a lot of the things that he's instilled in that program are still there to this day.
Yeah.
And so that connection is natural. Also too, Las Vegas has taken the ninth island, community feel. Hawaiians, the Hawaii people, they love coming up here to Las Vegas and spending their time here with their families and enjoying themselves out here. And also too, a lot of the families moved out here to Las Vegas, and so it is a home away from home, and so there's a really tight connection between Las Vegas and here.
Speaking of Las Vegas, tell me about having Micah back for another season and being picked preseason player of the year. Obviously, a lot of expectations on your quarterback.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's a unique individual that his best quality is his leadership. And we ask him to lead day in and day out, lead by example. He's held everybody accountable. And the only way he can do that is that he does it himself. And so, and having a preseason award like that just doesn't say, he can't do it alone. It's the biggest team game. So it really is an accolade for the rest of the guys as well.
How excited were you, I guess, on the schedule when you saw that you weren't going to Fargo, that they were coming your way?
Yeah, it's eventually we're gonna have to we're gonna switch off. Yeah. And so it's exciting. I think the Mountain West. I think Commissioner Gloria did an unbelievable job. The powers that be at North Dakota State, chose the Mountain West. And I just think for our conference, the Mountain West Conference, it just makes us stronger. And we look forward to. I look forward to watching North Dakota State play all their games, and then of course them coming to Hawaii to play.
I heard differently that each team is unique, brings its own style to the league. Is that accurate? And how would you describe Hawaii's style that bring to the Mountain West Conference in football?
Yeah, we in the Mountain West Conference, there is unique styles geographically everywhere you go. For Hawaii football, we've been a throwing, a pass-friendly type of offense. And I think that's why some of the receivers and quarterbacks, they get the accolades. but for us, on defense, it really stands with our physicality and what we like to do, and we have a lot of Polynesian athletes and guys from different parts of the country, but putting them together in the locker room, getting them to play for each other, tough brand of football, them flying around and coming downhill, that's what we bring.
One random question before I let you go. Have you got a guy from Maine? Have you got a guy from, have you ever got, what's the farthest recruit you've got to come to Hawaii since you've been coach?
Yeah, not Maine. I'll do you one better.
Okay.
We just graduated a guy that's been there for 4 years, and he was from Montreal.
Oh, Quebec. All right.
Yeah, he's from Quebec. So close neighbor, right above, right? And I thought that's been awesome. He's now at the BC Lions.
Nice.
Nick Senecal, receiver for us, and so he was an unbelievable 4-year guy, a 4-year starter for us, and been unbelievable. So we're not national recruiting, but we tend to kind of jump all over the place.
You told me before we got going here on air, you've actually been through North Dakota because you were playing up in Winnipeg, right?
Yeah,
in the CFL.
Yeah. Another quarterback in not the Mountain West, but in the WAC conference.
Yeah.
Another top quarterback by the name of Ryan Dinwiddie. Played at Boise State, is now the head coach of the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Red Blacks, yep.
We spent time together out in Winnipeg, and I ended up there north with you can imagine a guy from Hawaii not having enough warm clothes weather. So we made a drive to Fargo and had to stop at the Walmart and pick up some much needed warm clothes for that weather.
Well, now a lot of people at Fargo getting their Hawaiian shirts and shorts ready for a trip in November. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck this year, and we'll see you in November, okay?
Yeah, see you. Yeah, thank you.
Coach Timmy Chang of the Hawaii Fighting Rainbow Warriors joining us here.
Great to hear from Coach Chang. Very appreciative that he took a couple of minutes to sit down with Dom last week at the Mountain West Media Days on Radio Row. Fun guy to talk to. Saw him in passing, and then, of course, they had scrums as well, media scrums, which, if you're not familiar with that, everybody runs up to a table they're sitting at, shoves a microphone in their face. So had the opportunity to talk with him there. Really personable guy. Ran into him in the concourse of the ballroom, if you will, as well. And he was joking around with myself, Dom, Mike McFeely, and Jeff Kolpak about how everybody needs to get out to Hawaii this year to catch that game. Hawaii's definitely a team that is top of the radar when it comes to the Mountain West. They went 9-4 last season. They're 7-1 at home last year. Their home field advantage, in my mind, I think is a real advantage. I think it's going to be very difficult for teams like NIU in the future, UTEP, North Dakota State, to, especially in the first year, to figure out the travel schedule and how that works of going to Hawaii and then turning around as well. What's interesting with the Warriors' schedule this season, they start on August 29th at Stanford, and then they go into a Mountain West game in Hawaii against UNLV, non-conference game against New Mexico State after that, back into the conference schedule at Wyoming, and then home against San Jose State, non-conference game at Arizona State and Tempe, and then the rest conference games, New Mexico at home, they are at Northern Illinois, and then they are at UTEP. So that stretch in late October, early November is really interesting to me. They do have a bye week in between those, October 24th at Northern Illinois, which is by far their longest road trip. And in late October in Illinois, I can't imagine it's going to be too kind for those who are used to the weather in Hawaii. They get a break, and then they got to go to El Paso, which is still a trek. I know I'm no geography guy, but I'm pretty sure that's a ways away. And then November 14th is when North Dakota State makes their way to Hawaii. That's going to be a really interesting game. You heard him talk about it. Micah Alejado is a really, really good quarterback. He's the conference preseason offensive player of the year, was the freshman of the year last season, had 24 passing touchdowns. That set both a school and conference record for a freshman, single season record for a freshman. Not the most imposing guy in the world. Got to meet him and speak with him. He's only 5'10", 190. That's what he's listed at. But he is elusive. He is decisive. Great decision maker. Can use his legs and can use his arm. Now, last season with Micah, after the opener, had to play the entire year with fractures in his ankle, his right ankle, after suffering an injury in the first game of the season. He played through it. Guy's a dog, if you will. He is definitely going to be a player to watch. Again, he was on the preseason all-conference list. They had a wide receiver in there as well, Pafele Ashlock, Jama, I got to remember his name, Jama Otis, a linebacker, was also on the all-conference list, and Elijah Palmer, a defensive back, was on their all-conference list as well. I'm going to be really curious on how that shapes up. Going to Northern Illinois, have a break, going to UTEP, and then hosting North Dakota State. It's going to be a world of difference for the Bison traveling all the way to Hawaii, and especially for fans as well. I had the opportunity to speak with Amai Hanta back in the spring. She is on the North Dakota State softball team. I believe she's going into her junior year, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm also not wrong, she's the only student athlete at NDSU who's from Hawaii. And I asked her, what are some travel tips you would give to Bison fans that are going to go to Hawaii for the first time? She told me, and this is good news for good information for you if you're planning to go to this game on November 14th. She said to go to Denver first. Go to Denver and then go to Hawaii. That was her big one. It breaks up the trip a little bit. So go to Denver and then go to Hawaii. She told me to also bring food, a lot of food for the plane, because you're going to get hungry. And who knows about on-flight meals these days, so bring a lot of food. That was her second bit of advice. And then she also said when you get to Hawaii, and Timmy Chang, when I spoke to him, relayed this as well, eat the food in Hawaii. That's one of the biggest things. Obviously, the beaches are cool. The scenery is awesome. The weather hopefully is great, but eat the food. It's some pretty good cuisine. So Timmy Chang and Amai Hanta, both Hawaii natives, That's their advice for those of you planning to go to Honolulu in November. That trip's going to be exciting, that's for sure. So Hawaii, definitely a team to beat in the conference. I think if you look at the top three, it is UNLV, New Mexico, Hawaii. This is all my opinion, and I think North Dakota State is in the mix there as well. I think they can be interchangeable with Hawaii, but we just don't know. We have no idea, and we will not know until the end of August. It is going to be an interesting season. There's no doubt. As I mentioned, Dom was able to sit down with a lot of the coaches and players that were at Media Days. We will air those conversations throughout the week, so we'll have plenty more from the conversations that we got in Vegas last week coming up throughout the week here on Hot Mic. So great to hear from Timmy Chang on this Monday morning. We'll step aside when we come back. Whitney Mitchell from Central Cast will join us at the bottom of the hour, but first got to give you another Twins update, some news there. We'll also check in with the NBA, see what's happening with all their off-season drama and LeBron James. So that is coming up when we come back on Hot Mic.